All right, well, welcome, Katie. Take it away. Glad you're here.
Great. You should be seeing my screen. Is that correct with
We
this
are,
slide?
yes.
Great, great. Hey, everyone. I'm Katie Hotze. I'm the founder and CEO of Grocery Shopee. We are based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm excited to present to you today. JC, you're going to make sure I don't go over 10 minutes, so we're going to keep this tight.
Yes.
So Grocery Shopee is a marketing enablement technology. We connect food brands and retailers with shoppable recipe solutions. So let me tell you more about it. The genesis of the company goes back to a very personal problem that I had. I'd actually built a couple other tech companies as a digital marketer, as my side hustle when I was in consulting. But I kept coming home every single night and I didn't ever have a game plan for dinner. And yet on the weekends, I had friends texting me recipes, bringing me printouts of recipes. And I realized that when I'm in the office on a Tuesday morning and I open up an e-commerce site for groceries, I didn't have those recipes with me and I didn't have time to manually add them to my cart. And so the solution that I developed was very personal. I created a portfolio of recipe content, a catalog, if you will, and we developed it as a complementary retail application. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. But the reason that we developed it is because it was a tremendous gap in the industry. 89% of shoppers use digital recipes to make a decision on what they're making for dinner. A significant volume of those are actually funded by food brands who want you to have the most enjoyable experience with their product. So they have test kitchens, they fund millions and millions of dollars into creating these recipes, yet they're sitting on stagnant websites, General Mills, Kraft Heinz, et cetera. Those recipes are gone. They're vacant when you go to purchase groceries online. And that is a really interesting pocket because when you're shopping for groceries, you're putting those ingredients together to create a meal. So you need the recipes. They're just not where you need them. So what we did to come in and solve for this is we built a piece of technology that can click into any retailer's existing web experience. And we add a recipe to cart in 2 clicks. We give you an experience where you can come in and discover new recipe content. This is just like Pinterest. Every time you come into our platform, up to 3 times a week, you're always going to be looking at fresh recipe content. This is no longer going onto the recipe page on your grocery site and seeing the same bunk cake in the top right corner. This is constant recipe content. It is curated by food bloggers and food brands. In 1 click, you can add a recipe to your meal plan. 1 additional click, you can push it to a list, or you can go ahead and check out with it from your grocer's site. We are a narrow tech platform, so we actually push those ingredients directly into that cart, and we email you or text you those recipes. So what Shopee is we're a launch pad for shoppable recipe content. So as I've mentioned, it's a meal planning platform at its core. It is API-driven, cloud-native. We have machine learning AI enhancements within it. So you are known within the system. We pass a token. There's no passwords at all. And we give you a very smooth process, friction-free, to get recipes to your list or cart in 2 clicks. But what's really interesting in the industry today is what they call retail media in the industry. Retail media is the grocers now taking ownership of their own advertising. From our platform, every recipe is coded uniquely, so that recipe can be deployed anywhere. Digital circular, Instagram, Facebook, email, even in-store merchandising. We're just the technology behind that recipe. And it allows grocers to create a net new revenue channel by partnering with us. We go from a cost center to a profit center overnight for that grocer. Examples of content deployment. I like to unpack this a little bit more just to really get you closer to it. And so you see an example of Facebook. Facebook grabs net new shoppers. We see over 50% of the traffic that comes in from a recipe from our platform deployed on Facebook. Over 50% are brand new to that grocer's site. Keep in mind, our recipes, when they are clicked on, they go directly to that grocer's site. You see digital circular, which we see an 800% increased click-through rate, which is epic. You see email, 3,200% increased click-through rate, and web slider, which is the front homepage above the fold on a grocer's site. Our recipes can be deployed anywhere. A recipe is the highest clicked piece of content for a grocer or food and beverage to deploy, short of a coupon. So what makes us unique? Checking my timing, JC. We are retailer specific. So our recipes live inside that retailer's environment. And when you click on it, it goes directly to that retailer's site. We're a simple add-on. They don't have to change anything in their tech stack to add us. We give brands access to a retailer's loyal shoppers. They struggle and fight to get that kind of access, and we just open the doors for it. And our recipes can be deployed anywhere. This is an example of Facebook. I'll hit this real quickly. When our recipe is featured on a grocer's Facebook page, it sees a 250x increase in comments, 135x increase in shares. That is unheard of in this industry. We make money 3 ways. First and foremost, it's a SaaS-based fee to the retailers. They pay us a simple $100 to $180 per store per month for the agreement. The smaller grocers just do the meal planning. The larger ones are doing that retail media opportunity as well. The food brands come in. They can pay to have the recipes on our global catalog, and then they can also pay to do custom campaigns with our retailers. We get typically between 35 to 50% of that revenue. And then I tether a data subscription to both of those agreements. Today it's tethered. We charge extra. They get a monthly report that's beautiful and has all the insights they're looking for. In the future, we are going to be unpacking that in 2025 and actually selling the data as a separate operation. This is like growing from zero, and I take so much pride in this slide. We now work with hundreds of retailers. We have a national agreement with IGA, and we work with about 30 brands today, over half of which are paying us, I'd say, at least $10K annually to do campaigns. And then behind the company is myself. So I am a digital marketer. I have my MBA with a focus in data analytics. I spent 18 years in management and technology consulting. And Mike Johnson is my CTO, my co-founder. I call him the tech wizard. He's the guy behind the curtain. And he's done this a couple times. I'm a first-time founder, but he's just a pretty amazing partner to have on this journey. And that's really all. It's just an honor to share the company with you. I appreciate your interest.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. I'm so excited to hear. I have a few questions. There was one in the chat, and I'll just have you address it. I think this is someone answered it, but someone said, "Is it like Blue Apron or Hello Fresh?" And it sounds like that's a no.
So the cool thing, actually, the very first award we ever won before I even had live tech was we digitalize the meal kit subscription model. And so when you think about the meal kits that you're ordering, if you're tethered to the subscription, the food spends days in boxes shipped all over the country by the time it arrives to your house. We do that for your neighborhood grocer. So when our technology is plugged in, you're pumping those recipes in, and those groceries can be available at a neighborhood grocer. That neighborhood grocer has to employ our technology, but we're getting scale now where we can finally actually have reach to actually be able to replace the meal kit subscription models for certain areas.
Oh, great. Okay. Another question here. Do users see, or can they choose and filter recipe by grocer? Is that an option?
So we are grocer specific.
And okay.
That option exists in many different places, and it's existed for a while, and it only took off so much. So when we embed into a grocer's technology, those recipes are specific to that grocer, and we pull that API from the grocer from the store level to fill the cart.
Gotcha. Okay. And then I had a question just on the creative. It sounds like you've been in marketing for a few years. I saw some animation. I saw some pictures. I saw the actual like recipe. I saw a video. Are you curating all that? Is that coming from the grocer? Where is that being sourced from?
Awesome question. So we source from the brands. The food brands have massive catalogs of recipes. And the cool thing about us is this is not an SEO play, right? So it doesn't have to be fresh content. They can blow the dust off recipes they've created in the past, tons of tools to update the photography. And they give us the recipes, we add them to the catalog, and then we report back on the relative popularity of those recipes. What are the characteristics of their recipes that are seeing the highest conversion rate? We can actually give them the anatomy of a high-performing recipe. So but it all comes from the food brands now. Getting off the ground, we worked with a lot of bloggers. We don't do that anymore.
Okay, great. Well, there are a few more questions in the chat, but I want to ask one thing. What is it that you're in need of now? How can we be helpful? Is there anything you're looking for that the audience can help with?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Retailer partnerships. If
Okay.
you, so, yep. So IGA is our largest client today. I'm actually with them all afternoon. And we are looking to expand into new retailers in the United States, Canada, and we're just closing Puerto Rico right now. So we're starting to build out our Hispanic recipe content. Yeah.
That's
So if someone has a connection with a retailer, typically north of like 5 to 10 stores, our largest client has 50 stores, we would welcome that opportunity.
awesome. Well, hopefully someone here
Yes.
is in the retail space and they can connect with you. But if you don't mind, how do we get a hold of you? Put it in the chat. Hopefully you'll be around
Yes.
for a bit. I'm so thankful you shared. This is exciting. And there are, again, a few questions if you want to pop in and answer in the chat. But thank you, Katie, for joining us. I really was glad to hear a lot about Shopee.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Of course. Next up, I'm going to invite Mitch. There he is. All right. On
Hey
cue.
guys.
So
Can you hear
I'll
me?
let you take it away.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys. My name is Mitch Alterman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hatched Dating. And I'm really honored to be up here and share Hatch with you guys. I'll go ahead and share my screen. And yeah, just to address the elephant in the room here, Hatched is a dating app. I know there's a big stigma around dating apps today, and I also know this is probably a slight deviation from what you guys are used to seeing. So, again, as a quick agenda, I figured I'd just show you a little bit about the dating app industry itself, and then I'd get into the fun stuff, which will be an actual demo of how Hatched works. And so, without further ado, I'll just hop right in. So dating apps today are massively popular. They're the #1 way American couples meet today. 40% of American couples meet via dating apps today. That number is expected to balloon to 70% by 2040. And as you see here, the industry is about to experience rapid growth, both from a revenue and from a user count perspective in the next 3 years. But with that, in a strange sort of dichotomy, there's kind of a low bar for innovation, kind of contrary to literally every other sector within technology that is growing, that experiences rapid innovation. Dating apps simply haven't. Yeah, there's been an influx of new dating apps that have arisen over the past few years, but their methodology really is all the same. They consist of this double opt-in swiping clause, where essentially you're looking at someone's picture that takes up 50 to 70% of the screen. They're looking at your picture that takes up 50 to 70% of the screen. So inevitably, they'll probably prioritize it more than they would in real life. If you both swipe right on one another, that constitutes a match and you're able to chat. So again, there's been a myriad of other dating apps that have taken this model but applied them to certain niches, but there hasn't been a new concept that's coming out that's given people the ability to showcase themselves in a different light. But why does this matter? So like, what's the problem that Hatch is trying to solve? So since Tinder came out maybe 10 to 14 years ago, a phenomenon called swiping depression has kind of taken over and consumed consumers, really. So by sheer virtue of using dating apps or swipe-based dating apps, if you're on Tinder, if you're on any dating app that uses this double opt-in swiping model, you're 2.5 times more likely to suffer from psychological depression and distress. And that's just by virtue of someone looking at your picture and basically judging you and you doing the same to other people. And so and the strange kind of ominous conflict of interests, 40% of American couples meet on dating apps today. It's the #1 way people meet. But if you use dating apps, you're 2.5 times more likely to be depressed. And so there's got to be a new concept or a new product that comes out that gives people the ability to showcase themselves and from a personality and compatibility perspective versus just a picture on a screen. And we're confident that Hatch is just that. So I'll go ahead and share my phone with you guys. I'll stop the share here. It's my first time sharing my phone screen via Zoom. So hopefully this works. Start the broadcast. Give me 1 second here. So let's make sure we can see. Perfect. So I'll pull up the Hatched app. And so I already created my profile, but essentially at sign up, you'll choose a photo and then you'll choose an egg avatar from a library of about 40, 50 cute little egg avatar designs that go in front of your photos. Each avatar, if not just a standard color, is supposed to represent a personality or a hobby or an interest. And so from there, you'll automatically get paired with 6 eggs, as we call them. Our algorithm will pull these eggs based off of your match preferences and if you answered any previous questions within the app. And if you like what you see on a surface level, you could go ahead and proceed to hatch with that person. And so you'll notice there's one primary action on these match card screens here, and that is to click this little hatched icon. I'll click it, and that'll give me what we call personality, attitude, core value, or lifestyle question. We have a team of professional therapists that have developed a database of over 500 of these questions for us. One will get pulled at random for both you and your match to answer. And once you answer the question, if your match has also answered the question, you answer the question the same, the bottom 25% of each other's photos will be revealed, and the bottom 25% of your eggs will hatch. This match hasn't hatched yet, and so I'll send them over to my egg carton, which is kind of like a glorified on-brand way of saying our dashboard. And so if we navigate to our egg carton, which stores and houses all of your matches and their hatch statuses, you'll be able to see this progressive funnel, which really gamifies the entire experience. And so you'll be able to see all of your matches or your eggs and their hatch status. You'll be able to see your eggs at 0% hatched, meaning you haven't answered any questions similarly yet. 25% hatched, meaning you've answered one question similarly, so you can see 25% of their photo. 50% hatch, you've answered two questions similarly, so you can see 50% of their photo. 75% hatch, and then 100% hatch, where you can see your match's entire photo. Basically, with each question that you answer similarly, you'll be able to see more of your match's photo. And once you answer 4 questions the same, you'll be able to chat with that individual. So essentially changing the criteria of matchmaking from physical attraction, okay, I like your picture, you like my picture, let's begin a conversation, to, oh, we have 4 personality traits in common, let's give this a shot and begin a meaningful conversation. Within each hatching tier, as we call it, you'll see 4 or 3 primary states that your matches can be in. The first will be kind of like a dormant state where you already answered the question, but your match hasn't answered the question. So there's not a whole lot you could do here. You can nudge Delaney, which will essentially send her a push notification, letting her know you're waiting for her. And then also, you answer your first question, your match has answered the first question, and you haven't seen the results yet. This kind of creates the aha moment for our entire experience. So you'll see here, I already answered this first question, Morgan has answered the question. Let's see if our answers resulted in a hatch. See this cute little animation, and voila, I have an emotional response, an emotional trigger. I see that Morgan and I clearly have something in common here because we both answered the first question the same, and we both resulted in the hatch. I can see the history of this question here. And if I'm still interested and like what I see, based off of the bottom 25% or the new profile details that are revealed, I can proceed and go to the next question to hatch to 50%. So you'll see Morgan most likely is now in my 25% hatched here. And my goal is to progress Morgan all the way down to 100% hatch. So it's a really fun gamified experience that prioritizes personality and keeps users engaged by having the personality shine through to create their matches. So one last feature call out that I will call out is our golden egg. This is a new feature that we rolled out literally, I want to say about 5 weeks ago, and it kind of just rounds out and gamifies the experience to another level. But basically, so for every 50 questions that a user answers within the original hatching flow, we'll reward them with a golden egg, which is a fully hatched match that our algorithm will determines is most compatible to that user based off the 50 questions that they previously answered. So again, it gamifies the experience even more, it makes it even more fun, but it also rewards our users for engaging with the platform, answering questions, and telling us a little bit about themselves. So yeah, that's hatched in a nutshell, or in a nutshell. And I'd love to open up the floor to questions.
I love it. In an eggshell. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to stay on brand. I love it, Mitch.
Of course.
We've got a few questions here. So I'm sure people have thought about this, and I'm sure you're addressing it, but what are you currently doing about fake profiling,
Yeah,
safety, etc.?
Safety is a huge deal for us. So first and foremost, I will say, and this isn't just a fluff answer, but our concept is very, it organically kind of weeds out any bad apples, right? If you're going to create a fake profile and catfish someone, you're probably going to do it on an app that glorifies photos and does it on like a Tinder of the world, where you could just add any photo and people are going to swipe right on you. For within Hatch, you got to work a little bit to see someone's photo. And so organically, like, it just kind of filters out some bad apples. But also we do have AI software. We have an AI partner, that's the same AI partner that Reddit actually uses, some other major like consumer apps that actually, so for content moderation, they'll pick up on any like the nefarious content that someone might post or upload, or pictures or whatever, and they'll block it out. And then we are in the process of rolling out an identity verification system where some people will actually have to like take selfies of themselves, send them to our team, and confirm them, and then we'll verify that, give them some sort of verification badge. And so, yeah, and then we also have a pretty robust reporting system. So if we do get reports, we have like a one strike policy. If anyone gets reported based off of a claim that we think is reasonable for suspension, we will boot that user from the app. So it's an ever evolving process, but user security is obviously really important to us, especially for a social network based application.
Sure. Yeah. Great. Great to hear. I love it. I like hearing the iteration as well. That's awesome. I'm going to get one more question from you here.
Yeah.
And then there are more in the chat.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
So I'll ask, what can we do to help you? Just because that wasn't asked. And then again, there's more in the chat. And if you want to answer them publicly, I bet others would like to hear as well.
Sure.
But what can we do right now to help you? What is Hatch's next thing that they can help with?
No, honestly, I'm just I appreciate it. Thank you so much for even hearing me out and letting me show you guys this crazy egg idea. But basically, I'm trying to connect with really anyone in the consumer space that's built social networks, that have built consumer brands or consumer apps. I mean, there's synergies that I can find across anyone that really has like been building in consumer. It's a totally different beast. And so I'd love to pick anyone's brain there. And yeah, I'm just always open to networking, meeting people. If you're a user of Hatch, I would love to meet you guys and hear your feedback. So we thrive off of feedback. It's the only way we'll get better. And so I'll post my contact information in the chat, but don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, love it. Well, Mitch, there again, there's lots of questions. Hopefully people will connect with you. But yeah. I'm so thankful you could join today. We appreciate it. And thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Alex, right on cue. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will just turn it right over to you so you can dive in.
All right. Thank you so much. So I'm Alex. I am the founder and CEO of Good Agriculture, and we are a farm business management platform. And we give farmers their time back so they can do what they do best, which is farm. And so why do we exist? If you're a farmer, life is actually pretty tough. Most farmers are in the profitability critical zone where they're not actually making enough money to be financially sustainable. And farmers are doing everything by themselves. They're doing all the farming, but they're also doing all the business back end work. So all the finances, all the sales, all the logistics, all the hiring, all the legal compliance. It's a lot. And so what happens is farmers are actually one of the most stressed industries in the country. So they have the highest suicide rate out of any occupation, even higher than military veterans. So we built Good Agriculture to help with that. So we are the scalable corporate back office for these farms, particularly the small to mid-sized farmer who can't hire an admin person to get help with some of these things. So we take the tasks that they don't like to do off their plate, the paperwork, the books, sometimes the human interaction, if we're going to be honest, and we give them the time to do what they do best, which is farm and do the things on the farm they need to do to actually reach profitability. And so we are building an AI and data-powered platform to do all these things for the farmer. And so the pieces we have built today are our financial management and funding products, which I'll go into in a second here. But we are looking to build out the rest of this over time. A lot of these things already exist on the market, so we're excited to build partnerships where it makes sense, but there are pieces where it doesn't exist and we'll have to build it ourselves, and we'll do that as well. And so what our two current products, so one is a financial management product, and this is just a good old monthly subscription priced at 1 to 2% of the farm's revenue. And so we are basically the scalable fractional CFO for farmers. So we do the kind of admin tasks like bookkeeping and tax prep, but we also do financial analysis and like cash flow modeling for these farmers and just give them visibility to like how the farm's actually doing. So one of farmers' favorite features is we give them profitability by enterprise, so like what things they're growing. And most of our farmers, like something they're growing is losing them money and they have no idea. Our other product is a funding product. So there's $11 billion a year in various programs for farms. So like government cost share programs, nonprofit grants, carbon credits, and farmers either don't know they're eligible for these things, or even if they know they're eligible, the paperwork is such a pain in the butt that they just don't apply. So we built one tool that helps match farmers with these opportunities, and then another set of tools that writes the applications for them. And so we've been able to acquire customers at a really low cost, and we have a very high projected customer value. And both of these products are already unit profitable, and we think we can get to like a 60 to 70% gross margin on these things. And so traction to date, we've worked with 24 active customers, and farmers, they call us lifesavers. They say like, there's no way I could have done this without you. You've really transformed the way I do our business. So we just love hearing that feedback. We're up to $1,500 in monthly recurring revenue, which has tripled since over the summer, which we're really excited about. Importantly, we've had zero churn on the monthly subscriptions. So what we see is, farmers really become reliant on us to run their businesses. And once we take this thing off their plate, they really do not want it back. And then also importantly, we've seen that farmers who do come on with us for financial management help they get more profitable. So 4 percentage points is huge in agriculture because average margin is like 1%. And so for a lot of our farmers, this has been the difference between unprofitability and profitability. So this is our team. So I have a background in management consulting. I worked at McKinsey & Company doing everything from AI strategy to building custom machine learning software for different non-digitally native industries like mining, manufacturing, defense. And then importantly, my co-founder is a farmer, and she's also a data scientist, which is just the most amazing combination in startups. And then Alan, Josh, and Reba are the rest of our full-time team, and they both have deep functional expertise in their areas, and then also a lot of experience in the food and ag space. And so why now? So farms, the way we farm today is actually super unsustainable. So if you there are some reports that we lose topsoil so fast that all of our farmland will be gone in 60 years. So farms are being pushed to more sustainable practices, both through government programs, demands from buyers, and then in the long run, like regulation is going to push these farmers to change. And that's great. A lot of these practices can actually help farmers make more money, but they are time consuming. And so if a farmer is going to have time to invest into farming more sustainably and do things like cover crop rotations, soil test analysis, building pollinator habitats, they're going to need some of their time freed up from, all of the other just like nonsense of running a business. And so we have an opportunity both to, take advantage of this trend, but also accelerate it and make our agriculture system better, faster. Farms are an enormous market. So farms overall are like $600 billion in revenue. Most benchmarks say that organizations spend between 10 to 20% of their revenue on their back offices. So our total addressable market is that 10% of 600 billion, which is 60 billion. And then if you just zoom down to what we're actually doing today, which is helping small and mid-sized farms, which is about half the farm market, with their financial management and with their funding, it's a obtainable market of $5 billion. And we are unique in the landscape as a more tech-enabled services company. Our biggest competitor is really the pen and paper. Most farmers are not using any digital tools, and we are kind of helping them start that transition to digital adoption and take advantage of all the amazing things technology can do. There are other like pure SaaS platforms out there, but if you have met a farmer, you will understand why that's not going to work. Like farmers do not want to be inside on their computer, like entering data into some tool. So we basically just like remove the adoption question by just doing it for them. And there's also like a lot of university extension and stuff, but they think they do what we do, but they really aren't in a position to support farmers long term. And so I'll leave my contact information up here. I would love to hear from you guys. I'm also easy to find on LinkedIn because I have a weird last name. So excited to connect.
Awesome. That's so exciting to hear about some of the traction, Alex, you're doing. I love it. I need to ask, if you don't mind, where are you originally from? Are you from a farming community?
No, not at all. So the ironic thing is I have a total black thumb. I am like, I kill my garden every year. So, I mean, what I tell the farmers is like, listen, you're good at growing things. I'm good at running businesses. Why don't you grow and I'll run the business so I can eat and you can stay in business.
I love it. Well, we got a few questions here. Number one, how do you find the farmers to work with?
So it's 3 different places today. So one is just good old digital marketing. If farmers Google grants for farmers, our website pops up. They take our customer intake form, and then we kind of get to know them that way. Okay. We also do a good bit of exhibiting at farmer conferences. So basically each state has like one big farmer conference. And if you go to that, you'll meet a lot of folks there. And then third, word of mouth is super powerful for farmers. So we get a lot of referrals from, like other folks in the ag industry or from farmers themselves.
Yeah, totally makes sense, especially the type of the personality profile, etc. That makes sense. That last one would be very high. Tell me this right now. We've got a few more minutes, a few more questions. What is the biggest bottleneck or challenge for the business right now?
So we are fundraising. So we're raising a 500K pre-seed round. And basically where that gets us is to profitability on these two current products. So then we can go raise the seed round and either build out more of the platform or just pour oxygen on what's working. But we do not have the runway to do the product dev we need to do and the marketing and sales we need to do to get those 200 to 300 customers that will get us to profitability.
Sure.
And obviously we have much bigger dreams than that, but that's the current bottleneck.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Now, are you, there's a question here. Are you going after the aquaculture, so like fishing? Is it just land, or are different farmers of different industries able to use your product?
Yeah. So one of the fun things about our initial 24 customers is they are growing literally everything you could think of except for wine. We don't have a winery yet, but we do have an aquaculture farmer, which is really fun. So we prove so ag tech tends to be really siloed in that you build a product that works for cotton or cattle or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily work in other types of farms, which makes your market really segmented. But we've proven the product works no matter what you're growing, and therefore we can target the whole agriculture market.
Brilliant. What a great idea and scalability there. One more question here, and then there's a couple in the chat. There's maybe you can revisit your pricing model. I know you spoke to it, but what can we do to help, right? We talked about a little bit about your bottleneck, but is there anything here that this community can do to help you?
Yeah, so 3 asks. So one, of course, we are fundraising. So if you are an early stage investor, angel, or people who might be interested in this, we would love connections. 2, once we raise money, we are going to have a pretty significant lift to productionize our MVP so that can actually handle thousands of farmers at once. So once we raise money, we're going to be looking for the right, CTO or tech partner. So would love intros there. And then 3, of course, if you know any farmers or anyone in the ag industry who'd be interested in partnering with us, we always love connections.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Well, if you want that, there's questions here, and you can maybe even put your contact info on how we're going to find you, how we connect. You said you're easy to find on LinkedIn, so maybe you can drop that. And again, Alex, we just appreciate you being here, sharing your story. I'm excited to see how this goes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. Now with that, we have 5 minutes. I am going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. A few things coming up. Number one, I would love to invite you all. We do host another meetup. It is called the Atlanta Healthcare Meetup. And so that is one, it is focused on startups, of course, but they're in the technology sphere. So if you can, did I share my screen here? Can everyone see? Up next, can everyone see on November 8th, we're hosting that. So if you want to check out that event, please feel free. We're glad you could join, of course, today, but that's always another one to come up. Also, I would love if we love feedback. So if anyone is open to it, there is a survey in the chat. If you want to just talk about why you were here, what you were doing, etc., we'd love to hear it. And now we have 4 minutes. I would love it if anyone needs anything or has anything to offer, needs and leads. We've got 4 minutes. I've seen some good connecting with Hatched. I saw there was a couple people looking to connect there. Would love to hear it. You can either put it in the chat while Alex is answering all these rest of these questions, or you can turn on your video. We've got 4 minutes. Needs and leads. If you have something that you're working on that you can offer to anyone in the audience.
Hey, Jesse, Jitesh here.
Hi,
sorry, I had to drop off for I had an emergency. So I'll just use 1 minute of your time. I didn't get to go through, see all of them. It's on me, but I got through Shopee and I saw Good Agriculture. I'll probably check it out. But I am more into Java and Python. I also love AI. So if anybody needs my technical skills to help or maybe work with you on a side hustle just to help, I would love to explore more and maybe connect with you. I'm not trying to, make any money. It's just I have a passion to help out new ventures. We
Love
might
it.
have the new Google here, so who knows? So
Well,
just trying to help. Let me know if anybody is, interested. I would definitely go through a shout out to all the vendors, all the people who are startups, and JC, you guys are awesome, simply awesome. Thank you.
well, thanks, Jitesh. If you put your contact in there, your LinkedIn, allow people to connect with you, that'd be great. I also
Thank you. Sure.
see,
Thanks, everyone.
one quick question, Katie, if you can answer, is Shopee in the App Store? She said she needs this app. So answer there. If anyone needs a fractional CTO or help building some apps, I think Edie is willing and ready. It looks like, Kirk, you have a quick lead request. Let's hear it.
Yeah, no, very quick. Hello, everyone. My name is Kirk Scott, founder and CEO of Athlete.io, the first centralized platform connecting all amateur athletes with scholarship opportunities as well as marketing deals. I'll turn my camera on here. And I guess you kind of answered it right before I came on. It looks like Edie may be someone to speak to, but I was going to say for anyone on the call that knows anyone or does this themselves, definitely looking for someone to start building my MVP with. I'm in the idea phase, but are a couple of pre-accelerators, and very, very, very into building and looking to start building pretty quickly here. So if anyone knows, like you said, a fractional CTO or someone who actually wants to come on and really go at it with me, would love to meet with them and see if there's some synergy there. So
love it. Well, thanks. I mean, hopefully you guys can connect. I see Edie turned on her camera, so she's there, but I think there's others in the chat as well. So hopefully you can connect.
absolutely.
We have 1 minute. I've got one more minute. We want to be mindful and give your time back. So I will thank you. If anyone else wants to save this chat, feel free, dig in there. There's a lot of answers to be answered and connections to be made, but we're just thankful that you all joined us this morning, gave us an hour. I'm always glad to see returning faces. It's good to see those I know and meet new people as well. Feel free to connect with Atlanta Ventures Online. At the end of that survey, there's a QR code where you can connect with us or join our newsletter. We love connecting with entrepreneurs, and we're just thankful you all are here. So without further ado, I will bid you goodbye. We will see you on the hopefully on November 8th. There will also be another Atlanta Startup Convos in December. So stay tuned and talk soon. Cheers. Goodbye. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Katie. So fun to see you guys. Take care. Bye, y'all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.